wild instruction. Yeah. I just keep it intact, this is a fact, right and exact, I won't step back. Admiration is the feeling that inspires your brain to make you gain self-knowledge, not go insane.
I don't know how I got here. I just know I'm never going back. Just when I thought things were already crazy, it gets worse.
I'm back.
Quan?
Sapphire struggles to deal with her husband's alleged betrayal and coming to terms with Quan being alive after thinking he was deceased. Devante tries to keep a level head while dealing with family issues and unexpected disloyalty. Memories of Dre enters Devante's life in a way that he would have never imagined.
Fire Part 2, the finale.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday evening. This evening, I'm going to go over laws versus lawlessness and some new U.S. gun laws. I'm going to start off with, because our people need to know that the gun laws have changed, and a lot of the laws have changed in our favor. And we need to know this, so when the tyrants pull up on us and we have our weapons on us and we have all of our credentials, they cannot infringe on our rights as gun owners. Again, a lot of the gun laws have changed, even in New York and New Jersey. And again, laws have changed in our favor. The citizens, the people, the taxpayers get to sue the police personally, and it comes out of their pocket if they violate our rights. And they're not able to get away with a lot of things that they got away with before this law that passed in November that started this month. I'm going to get right into it. I'm not going to play no music. I'm going to get right into it. Share my screen and get right into it.
Displaying a firearm have been dropped in the county.
A federal appeals court dropped a bombshell ruling this November, and it's not just another legal update. It's a complete shakeup of how gun laws work across the country. This decision brings 10 major changes. Some expand your rights in ways we've never seen before. Others create hidden legal traps that could catch even the most responsible gun owners off guard. Whether you carry daily, keep a firearm at home, or simply believe in the right to self-defense, these changes affect you directly, and knowing them could be the difference between staying protected or ending up in court. Here are the 10 changes every gun owner needs to understand, starting now. Law 1. Strict scrutiny is now the standard. This first change is the backbone of everything else that's about to unfold, and it completely flips how gun laws are judged in America. For years, the government had it easy. Courts allowed restrictions to pass with little more than a vague justification, no real proof that they were necessary. But that's no longer the case. The November ruling makes it clear. Every single gun law in the country must now survive strict scrutiny, the toughest legal standard that exists. What does that mean in real terms? It means the government can't just claim a law is a good idea. They have to prove they have a truly compelling reason for limiting your rights. And not only that.
And that's when the government will create the atmosphere with an incident to push their agenda again. Agendas cannot be pushed and established without an incident, i.e., National Guardsmen being shot in Washington, D.C. Without something like that, an agenda cannot be pushed. So we have to be careful with the people who say they are public servants, because they really serve themselves and their constituents. But laws that are being passed as far as gun laws have to withstand scrutiny, meaning that they have to be proven before the laws or the bills become law. They have to withstand scrutiny. Not just saying, oh, we need this because of this or that, and it's just passed without any scrutiny.
That, they must show the law is narrowly focused and that no less restrictive option exists. The burden doesn't fall on you anymore. It falls completely on them. This one shift puts thousands of guns.
The burden was supposed to always be on the prosecution, not on the people. The burden of proof should always, and so they say, was always on the prosecution and the government, because if a person is innocent until proven guilty, the burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove that person innocent or guilty.
Gun laws across the country at risk of being overturned. Laws that once flew under the radar or passed with emotional arguments are suddenly on the chopping block. It's a total reset, and it opens the door for real accountability. Law 2. Civil lawsuit shield for self-defense. Now here's a change that hits even closer to home and could save you from financial disaster if the unthinkable ever happens. Let's say you're forced to use your gun to protect yourself or your family. You survive the moment, only to find yourself being sued by the very person who attacked you or their family. That's not just hypothetical. A man in Ohio shot a burglar breaking into his house at 2 a.m. No criminal charges were ever filed, but the burglar's family sued and won $400,000. In another case, a woman in California defended herself from an attacker in a parking lot, only to get hit with a $1.2 million lawsuit for using excessive force. The new ruling shuts that door completely. From now on, if you use a firearm in lawful self-defense, you are shielded from civil lawsuits, period. The attacker, or anyone else, can't just drag you into court. They first have to prove in a criminal setting that what you did was unlawful. And unless they can do that, no lawsuit can even begin. This changes everything. It means your home, your savings, and your future aren't up for grabs just because you protected yourself. It's one of the most powerful legal protections gun owners have ever been given. And most people don't even know it exists yet. Law 3. Police can now be held personally accountable. Here's a change that's going to make waves in law enforcement, and it directly affects how your gun rights are handled during police encounters.
This is the law, the part of the law that I like, because I've been saying when the police violate our rights or aggress us violently or worse, that when the police are being held accountable personally and become a liability, then things will change. Because if someone is aggressed violently, police abuse or what have you, and that person win $30 million and it comes out of the city's budget instead of the police budget, it's not going to be a punishment as far as the police department is concerned. But if that money has to come out the police department's pocket and then trickle down to the officer's pocket, you'll see a drastic change.
For decades, officers who crossed the line were shielded by something called qualified immunity. Even when they violated the law or stepped on your rights, they were protected from personal consequences. That shield is now broken, at least when it comes to the Second Amendment. This November's ruling makes
Qualified immunity should be gone altogether, because if they can tell taxpayers that ignorance of the law is no excuse, when we are not trained officers, a lot of us are not trained in what the law is, how can they tell us that ignorance of the law is no excuse, but give a trained police officer, at least trained for 6 months, to learn the law, which is, I don't think is enough time to learn or to get training that deals with life and death situations. They only go into the academy for 6 months and then they're put on the job after having their field training. And if the field training officer is an asshole, he's going to train him to be one. And I think police officers should be quizzed quarterly on what the law is, at least case law and penal code and municipal law where they work at. They should at least know that. If they're going to be on the street calling themselves enforcing the law, they should know everything within that municipality.
Makes it clear, if a police officer violates your clearly established gun rights, they can now be held personally responsible. No more hiding behind technicalities or blanket immunity. If they take your lawfully owned firearm without cause, they can be sued directly and pay the price themselves. This isn't just theory, it's already happening. In Virginia, a man was pulled over while carrying with a valid permit. He did everything by the book, disclosed his firearm, followed the rules, and still, the officer confiscated his gun without legal grounds. The court didn't just throw out the case. It awarded the man $300,000 in damages, personally charged to the officer. This new standard finally gives gun owners a real layer of protection against overreach. It puts power back where it belongs, and it makes officers think twice before violating your rights. Law 4, the sensitive places loophole, just got shut down. Now let's talk about one of the oldest tricks in the book, banning guns by calling every location a sensitive place. States like New York, California, and New Jersey have been using this tactic for years. They knew they couldn't outlaw carry altogether, so instead, they created long lists of...
New York and New Jersey has the worst gun laws in the country. They make it very hard for you to even get a purchase permit. In New Jersey, you have to get a purchase permit. You have to have a permit to purchase the weapon. And if you're going to carry it, you have to go back and get another permit to carry it. A purchase permit. And then it takes almost a year to get sometimes just a purchase permit. They'll put so much time on it and red tape on it when it comes to us anyway, till we get frustrated and give up and say, forget it. And that's how we get a lot of illegal guns on the street. Law-abiding people can't get a gun who look like us. And one thing about New Jersey, it's concealed carry. It's not open carry. It's concealed carry. I don't like concealed carry. Because when you got a biased police officer see a bulge in your shirt, he's automatically thinking you're a criminal, and you shouldn't have to walk around flashing your permit everywhere you go. You shouldn't have to do that, or wear your permit around your neck to let people know that you have a permit to have your gun or carry your gun. So I like open carry better than concealed carry.
Of places where guns were suddenly off limits. Parks, libraries, grocery stores. Some states had over 50 categories. You were technically
that back.
allowed to
1
carry,
second.
just nowhere that
We'll run it
before
back.
violating your rights. Law 4, the sensitive places loophole just got shut down. Now let's talk about one of the oldest tricks in the book, banning guns by calling every location a sensitive place. States like New York, California, and New Jersey have been using this tactic for years. They knew they couldn't outlaw carry altogether, so instead, they created long lists of places where guns were suddenly off limits. Parks, libraries, grocery stores. Some states had over 50 categories. You were technically allowed to carry, just nowhere that mattered. That tactic just got blown apart. The court's ruling lays down a new, clear standard for what actually qualifies as a sensitive place. It's no longer about feelings or signs. It's about facts, real security. Places like courthouses with metal detectors and armed guards still count. So do schools with proper screening and law enforcement on site. But a public park with nothing but a no guns sign, that's not enough anymore. States now have to scale back their lists big time. In fact, some are being forced to cut down by 80% or more. And if you're carrying legally and walk into a business that doesn't allow firearms, they can still ask you to leave, but they can't have you arrested just for walking in with your firearm. This change restores the meaning of the law and stops states from twisting the rules to quietly ban carry rights in everyday life. It's a major win for anyone who wants their rights to mean something beyond just words on paper. Law 5, no more endless delays for carry permits. Let's be honest, just getting permission to carry legally used to feel like an obstacle course. In many states, it wasn't about denying your rights outright. It was about making the process so slow and frustrating that you gave up trying. You'd fill out all the paperwork, submit your application, and then wait and wait and wait. 3 months, 6 months, even 18 months in places like New York. No updates, no decision, just silence. That game is over. Under the new ruling, every state is now on the clock. From the moment your carry permit application is submitted, the state has 60 days to approve or deny it. And if they miss that deadline, you're automatically approved by default. They can't keep asking you for more documents unless there's a specific, clearly explained legal issue. They can't pause the clock. And if they do deny you, they have to give you a full written explanation with actual legal reasons, not just a vague rejection. The results are already showing. Some states have approved more carry permits in the last 3 weeks than they did in the past 6 months combined. The delays are done. The excuses are done. If you qualify, you get your permit on time. Law 6. You can store ammo and firearms however you choose. Now here's a change that's long overdue, because owning a gun means nothing if you can't actually use it when it counts. Some states passed storage laws that seemed reasonable on the surface, but were clearly designed to make your firearm useless in an emergency. In Massachusetts, the law said your ammo had to be locked up in a container separate from your gun. In California, it had to be stored in a completely different room. One Illinois county went even further, requiring you to store your firearm and ammunition on different floors of your home. Now think about what that means. It's the middle of the night. You hear a break-in, you grab your gun, but it's unloaded. You run to another room, unlock a second box, load up, and pray the intruder gives you enough time to finish. It's unrealistic, it's dangerous, and now it's unconstitutional. The ruling makes it clear. Any storage law that prevents immediate access to your firearm in an emergency violates the Second Amendment. You now have the right to store your firearms and ammunition together in whatever setup makes the most sense for your home, your family, and your security. The government doesn't get to decide what's safe for you. That decision belongs to you, and now the law backs that up. Law 7. The hidden gun registry just got exposed and ordered destroyed. For years, gun owners were told there was no national registry tracking who owns what. And by federal law, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Since 1986, the government has been banned from creating any system that connects specific firearms to specific individuals. But behind the scenes, several states found clever workarounds, and now it's all coming to light. Take California, for example. Their dealer record of sale system quietly stored information on every handgun purchase dating back to 1996. 20 million records in total, all linking names to firearms. In Hawaii, the law required every single gun to be registered with local police, including the make, model, serial number, and owner's full personal details. The November ruling didn't just acknowledge these systems, it flat out shut them down. The court ruled that any state-run database tracking individual gun owners or their firearms is a direct violation of federal law. These registries must be dismantled within 180 days, no exceptions. And states are required to notify affected gun owners in writing that their information has been permanently deleted. Some states are already trying to push back, but the court didn't leave room for games. Non-compliance means contempt charges and daily fines until those records are gone for good. This is the first real enforcement of the registry ban we've seen in decades, and it's a major victory for privacy and gun rights alike. Law 8. No more ATF attacks over paperwork errors. This next change closes one of the most frustrating and unfair loopholes used against law-abiding gun dealers. For years, the ATF used minor technical violations, things like a wrong date, a misplaced number, or the wrong color pen, as reasons to revoke federal firearms licenses. These weren't criminal acts, they were paperwork mistakes. But the penalties were devastating. One Pennsylvania gun store lost its license because the owner accidentally wrote 2022 instead of 2023 on a single form. In Texas, a dealer had his license revoked simply for using blue ink instead of black on a transfer document. These weren't threats to public safety. They were gotchas used to shut down businesses the government didn't like. That ends now. The court's decision makes it clear the ATF can no longer strip someone's license over administrative errors. They must prove an actual criminal violation before revoking a federal firearms license.
They don't want people armed. Only an enemy would try to strip you of your right to carry or your right to defend yourself and your family. Only an enemy will attempt to do that.
And if mistakes are made, the agency is now required to issue a written warning and give the dealer a fair chance to correct the issue before taking any further action. This change levels the playing field for small gun shops and home-based FFL holders. It stops the government from weaponizing red tape and using regulations as a backdoor method of gun control. For dealers who've been walking on eggshells for years, this ruling is a long overdue shift toward fairness and due process. Law 9. Concealed carry now travels with you. Having the right to protect yourself at home is one thing, but what happens when you cross state lines? For decades, gun owners have been...
Another law that I like, your concealed carry permit, you can go anywhere you want to. At least for now, I believe it's 42 states you can go to now in the United States. And this new rule starts this month. That if you have a carrier's permit, you can carry your gun from state to state, and the police in that state, whether they're local police or state police, have to honor your permit wherever you go.
Been trapped in a confusing mess of state-by-state rules on concealed carry. You could have a valid permit in Georgia, but the second you drove into Florida, it meant nothing. And unless you memorized constantly changing reciprocity maps, you were at risk of getting arrested just for crossing a border, sometimes just 20 minutes down the road. That's all changed. This November's ruling establishes a national baseline for concealed carry recognition. If your permit is valid in your home state, it's now legally recognized in at least 42 other states. No extra paperwork. No extra fees, no more legal guessing games. Your Texas permit now works in New Mexico. Your Arizona permit travels with you into most of the country. And states can't throw in extra restrictions or demand more requirements just because you're from somewhere else. If it's valid back home, it's valid on the road. Period. Police departments in states that previously refused to honor out-of-state permits are already undergoing retraining. This shift gives gun owners something they've wanted for years: the ability to travel across the country without leaving their rights behind. Law 10. You're now better protected at home than ever before. Of all the fears gun owners face, one stands out above the rest: having to use a firearm to defend your home and then being treated like a criminal for surviving. That nightmare has played out too many times. Homeowners who clearly acted in self-defense still found themselves arrested, charged, and dragged through courtrooms for months or even years. One man faced aggravated assault charges after shooting a burglar armed with a crowbar. He had to spend 2 years proving he did the right thing. A woman in Maryland shot her abusive ex-boyfriend after he kicked in her door, violating a restraining order, and she still ended up jailed for 8 months before the case was dropped. This ruling finally brings the law in line with common sense. Now, if you use a firearm to defend yourself inside your home or on your property, the burden of proof is on the prosecution, not you. Prosecutors must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that your actions were not justified as self-defense. And unless they can do that, the case doesn't move forward, and this flips the equation. You're no longer forced to prove you were right. They have to prove you were wrong. And if they can't, you walk free. This is one of the most powerful protections ever added to castle doctrine laws. And it means that in the most terrifying moments of your life, the law will finally be on your side. These 10 changes mark the biggest shift in gun rights we've seen in decades. They affect how you own, carry, store, and defend. And knowing them could be the difference between staying protected or landing in court. Don't keep this to yourself. Share it with every gun owner you know, because these rights only protect you when you understand them. Knowledge is now your first line of defense.
Now we're going to go to veterans against the lawlessness of the government. They're saying F Donald Trump and his lawlessness, trying to weaponize them against the people.
Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump!
We've been used as pawns. We've been used as pawns for so long. You know, people think it's for our service, they pander to us, but when it comes down to actually supporting the institutions in the country that we defended, there's nothing but talk.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we could get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying.
Don't get it twisted. I'm for them getting these illegals out of here. The ones who are lawless, not handling their business as far as their paperwork, getting their citizenship right. But those who are running around taking over housing projects and breaking the law, robbing our people, being violent towards the people of the United States, get their ass out of here. Snatch them up, round them up, and get their ass out of here. My focal point is I don't like the United States being used as nobody's personal goons, because that's not what they're for. And then to bring the National Guard into the inner city when they're supposed to be securing the borders, when every state, not only that, every state have their own National Guard, and because the governor don't see fit to do it, which is at his discretion in the first place, the president is overreaching his authority over the governor and the mayor of those particular areas and sending National Guard from other states to areas where they're not even needed, because if they were needed, the governor would be the one at his discretion or her discretion bringing the National Guard. So I don't like the United States, especially someone who never came up through the rank and file commanding. I don't like anybody commanding the troops that hasn't been in the rank and file in the first place. I don't think no one should command an army that they never came up in.
Lying to us for years, and you're going straight to the people. You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up.
We are United States military veterans. We represent all 4 branches of the military, from the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard. We represent veterans of multiple campaigns in this country, from Kosovo to Cuba to Desert Storm to Iraq too, to Afghanistan, and even Vietnam. Our country called us to serve, and when it did so, we took an oath to the Constitution. I need to remind the guy sitting in the White House that no one took an oath to you. I need to remind our active duty and guard and reserve siblings in arms that you took the same oath that we took. An oath to the Constitution. This week, our sitting veterans in Congress reminded the service members of that very same thing. People who served in uniform and now serve in Congress told our service members to remember their oath. And the response from the White House was to call that sedition and to threat to hang them. To our fellow veterans in Congress, we got your six. Do not back down. Do not be threatened by this wannabe tyrant. Do not be threatened by this wannabe dictator. Hold the line. To our fellow service members who are currently under him as their commander-in-chief, nobody envies your position. Nobody would want to be in your boots right now. But to you, we say, we got your six. And remember your oath. Nobody wants to be standing here right now watching what's happening and unfolding in America. But all the veterans beside me, all the veterans in front of me, and every veteran in this country, our oath did not have an expiration. And we swore to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So while we would all rather be home, we're here today to remind the president, this is not your country, it belongs to we the people. Woo! We're here to remind the president it is from the service of those of us who put that uniform on that you're sitting in that house. And if push comes to shove, our service members will remember their oath.
You know, Republicans love to wrap themselves in the flag and say they're the party of the veterans and they back the police. What's your message to elected Republicans who say nothing about what Trump is doing to our country, our democracy?
I call them false patriots. You can fly the flag, but if you don't honor the Constitution, and if you thank us for our service, but then support a tyrant who attacks our own citizens with our own military personnel, who destroys our institutions from within, institutions that the American people have trusted for a couple hundred years, then I would say that they're betraying their oath. I always honored my oath to the Constitution. I always trusted my president and my government until 2017. That administration was bad enough. This administration has got a blueprint for destruction of our freedoms and our democracies. This country, including my family, who immigrated from Scotland and Ireland, we came here for a better life. These people risked their lives to come here to make their lives better. It's just victimizing people and distracting from the obvious crimes of Donald Trump and his criminal regime. I'm just proud to be here with all these veterans and the people that love them and the people that love this country. It takes me from a place where I was having very dark thoughts to now I have hope. I have hope that besides those of us that are older out here defending this Constitution, there are a lot of young people that I have a lot of faith in.
Sticking to the subject with lawlessness, we're going to go to Mr.
Washington Post.
Hegseth's
reporting
order.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a spoken directive.
We're going to go to Peter Hegseth's order to kill everybody. And of course, a liar first instinct is to lie about what they've done, even if you know emphatically that they did it. A liar, that's their first instinct, is to tell a damn lie. And once you lie, you got to cover it up with a lie.
According to two people with direct knowledge of the operation, the order was to kill everybody, one of them said. Two people with direct knowledge of the operation. That means they are inside the Defense Department watching Pete Hegseth. They are like the helicopter pilot flying over the My Lai massacre and knowing that he had to do something, knowing that what he saw happening on the ground was a crime, knowing what he was watching on the ground.
This is not defense. This is actually aggression. So it's not defense. And not only that, they changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and they're living up to that name.
Was the worst war crime ever committed by the American military. And so he landed that helicopter. The people who are witnessing the order to kill everybody see only one way for them to try to stop such orders. And so they spoke to the kinds of reporters who have been banned from the Defense Department under Donald Trump, reporters who are not allowed into the Defense Department press briefing room by Pete Hegseth. The Washington Post reporting on this story proves once again that access to the press briefing room is access to the least useful reporting that can be done in Washington, in the Defense Department, or in the White House, or anywhere else that has a press briefing room. Alex Horton and Ellen Nakashima of the Washington Post got this story without setting foot inside the Pentagon because they are banned from setting foot inside the Pentagon. There is no war in Venezuela. There will never be a war in Venezuela. Donald Trump foolishly decided to publicly play with the idea of war in Venezuela to distract from the Epstein files, a distraction that has failed miserably. And while Donald Trump remains weak in the face of Vladimir Putin's murderous aggression.
And that's crazy that people will lose their lives being a distraction for Donald Trump and his transgressions against the law and his illicit sexual behavior towards minors. They'll kill people and then say there's a war going on when if there's a war going on, war is supposed to be declared, even though you can declare war by act of violence. But when someone's in international waters that's accessed by everyone, and you lie and say that they're transporting drugs and bomb the boat and see two survivors who are shirtless, and then you order a second attack, making sure that you kill everybody, is an act against the Geneva Convention, making it a war crime.
And war making in Ukraine, he seems to believe that he somehow looks tough by firing the most expensive weapons ever used to destroy the smallest boats ever destroyed by weapons of war. Small boats with outboard motors in the Caribbean, a place where there is no reason to be firing at anything that is floating there. There is no evidence, zero evidence, that a single boat attacked by Donald Trump has been carrying drugs. No evidence of that at all. Not one shred of evidence has been presented of a single ounce of a single drug on a single boat for attacks in which 80 people have now been killed by Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. These are the kinds of small boats with outboard motors that you can see in small lakes in New Hampshire. They're not ocean crossing vessels. They have no cabins. They're just open boats.
Fishing boats. They're actual fishing boats, and they're being bombed, killing everybody aboard. Barely got 10 people on it, fishing boats. And that's who they're ordering to bomb in international waters.
With outboard motors that are used for water skiing and family fishing outings in New England and California and the Great Lakes. The Washington Post report was about the first such attack on September 2nd. Quote, a missile screamed off the Trinidad coast, striking the vessel and igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging to the smoldering wreck. The Special Operations Commander ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. 2 people familiar with the matter said the 2 men were blown apart in the water. The commander overseeing the operation from Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Admiral.
You can't tell me these people are not wicked. These are some evil ass people. And those of us, I don't know what they have to do to prove this, but these some evil ass people.
Frank M. Mitch Bradley told people on the secure conference call that the survivors were still legitimate targets because they could theoretically call other traffickers to retrieve them and their cargo, according to two people. He ordered the second strike to fulfill Hegseth's directive that everyone must be killed.
Murderous devil.
Today, the White House press secretary, who has never conducted a press briefing without lying, said that Admiral Bradley issued the order for the second strike on his own without Pete Hegseth telling him to do that. And Donald Trump's first instinct, as we know, is always to lie about
Throwing that man under the bus when he had absolutely nothing to do with that.
About everything. And so when asked about this, the very first words out of his mouth were, "I don't know anything about it." That's a classic Trump statement. He always said
That's the same thing that he said when they asked him about Project 2025, that he knew nothing about it, and now he's implementing every damn thing in it.
that. That's what Donald Trump says every time he's asked a question about a difficult subject. I don't know anything about it. And that is what Donald Trump did this time, before then revealing he does know something about it. And according to him, he spoke to his possibly criminally liable defense secretary, who is now accused of giving the order to kill everybody.
Can you talk a little bit about the strikes and the controversy around Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth?
I don't know anything about it. He said he did not say that, and I believe him 100%.
You don't know if there was
You're talking about the two men?
See, Hegseth and Donald Trump is not going to allow any press that's going to ask real questions, the critical questions that people want answers to. They're going to get people who will propagate their propaganda. That's why we can't even trust the news, because the news is sponsored by the state. And they allow who they want, you know, press secretaries and media press for the government. They allow who they want in. Now, it's certain parts of the media that's not allowed in the Situation Room in the Pentagon. Orders given by Peter Hegseth, because they're going to ask them questions that they don't want to answer. They're going to cross them up with the real questions.
The second strike to kill the two men.
No, he said he didn't do it.
If there were a second strike that killed people wounded in the first strike, are you?
Well, number one, I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted that. Not a second strike.
So Donald Trump is now claiming he wouldn't have wanted the second strike. But reports indicate this is not the first time there has been a second strike. According to the Washington Post, the Defense Department told lawmakers that second strikes on these boats are done to eliminate any of the floating wreckage of these very, very small boats, so that other ships at sea won't bump into that wreckage. Ships at sea, freighters, tankers, they wouldn't even notice that they'd hit that wreckage. They'd never know. That's how insignificant it is. Post reports the idea that wreckage from one small boat in a vast ocean is a hazard to marine traffic is patently absurd, and killing survivors is blatantly illegal, said Representative Seth Moulton, a Marine Corps veteran and vocal Trump critic, who received a classified briefing from Pentagon officials on the strikes in late October with other members of the House Armed Services Committee. Mark my words, it may take some time, but Americans will be prosecuted for this. This is Seth Moulton speaking. Will be prosecuted for this either as a war crime or outright murder. That's what Seth Moulton said about it. There will be congressional investigations. The Republican chairman of the House and Senate Armed Services Committee have said that their committees will investigate this killing. Here are two Republican members of the House Armed Services Committee.
If it was as if the article said, that is a violation of the law of war. When people want to surrender, you don't kill them.
Obviously, if that occurred, that would be very serious, and I agree that would be an illegal act.
Senator Mark Kelly is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. He has publicly urged members of the United States military to refuse to follow illegal orders. He says he would not have followed the order to kill everybody.
Based on what CNN is reporting, what Washington Post is reporting, do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over. We are not Russia. We're not Iraq. We hold ourselves to a very high standard of professionalism, and this is where
the United States lost their credibility a long time ago. They did war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan 20 plus years ago. And that's just 20 plus years ago. The world don't hate this country because they're better. That's just the truth.
I'm really troubled about this is because I have so much respect for people in the United States Navy. I served in the Navy for 25 years, and there is no organization.
I don't see how the military are not just outright tired of being the pawns of people who hold political office, using them to do something that most of them are incapable of doing or don't have the fortitude to do. But they're used. Every president that come into that damn office use the United States military as their personal damn goons all over the world.
More professional than Navy SEALs, and they should be revered. And that's why I say I hope what I've heard about this strike is not accurate.
You mentioned that you are a captain in the Navy. If you received that order, would you have carried it out?
No.
If the Republican-run committees in the Congress do inadequate investigations, the Democratic-run congressional committees will finish the job. We are a year away from Democrats winning back the House of Representatives, according to all polls, which are worse tonight for Donald Trump and congressional Republicans than they were last week. And when the Democrats control the investigative power of the House Armed Services Committee, Seth Moulton, who is a member of that committee, his prediction that the truth will come out will be proven true. And Pete Hegseth will not be able to get away with statements like this.
I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison.
It's a damn lie. That's a lie. But you know what makes this so hypocritical is that they'll bomb these little men in a damn near tugboat, international waters, but Donald Trump just pardoned a drug dealer who trafficked over 400 tons of cocaine to the United States. And his excuse for pardoning the man is that he was railroaded by the Biden administration. See, this is why I can't stand politicians, because they play politics, the undoing of the man or woman who held the office previously to spite them. But he's going to choose the drug dealer that he wants, just like he's very selective with the immigrants that come here and the immigrants that are being deported also, because it's some white immigrants that need to be on their damn way too, to back to where they came from.
Poison our country with illicit drugs.
There is zero evidence that a single word that Pete Hegseth just said about those people in the boat is true. Pete Hegseth killed 11 people that day. 9 with the first missile and 2 survivors clinging to the wreckage with the second missile. He doesn't know who they were. He doesn't know how old they were. He doesn't know who the oldest was. He doesn't know who the youngest was. Was there a 14-year-old boy on that boat? He doesn't know. A 12-year-old? He doesn't know. Pete Hegseth doesn't know.
They've always used that excuse that the people were drug dealers. There was some type of terrorist to justify murdering people. It's just the way of the people who govern this so-called nation. It's just their way. Some of these people are inherently wicked, evil. For you to order or strike on a boat indiscriminately, and then you don't kill everybody, and then you order a second strike, being sure that you killed everybody on the boat, and your excuse is they were selling drugs. It's just plain wicked. It's just an excuse because prior to that, you said nothing about Venezuela selling drugs, especially a government like the United States pointing a finger at corruption. Nah, don't have the right to. Just don't.
Pete Hegseth doesn't know their names. He doesn't know if any of them have ever met a gang member. And we know Pete Hegseth doesn't know those things because if they knew the names of those people and could show that any of them.
Peter Hegseth, like the rest of Donald Trump's administration, don't know much because starting from the president down, I don't know if it's down or up based on the mentality of this dude. They don't have a damn clue.
Were criminals. They would have released all of those names and all of their known criminal activity, and they are deliberately destroying evidence in every one of these attacks. The second strike in addition.
If they can redact some papers that or some files that incriminate them in their activity against minors, of course, if they can be potentially charged with war crimes, they're going to do whatever they could to cover it up. And they got a nerve to have that shit on damn video from a drone. Killing somebody. I mean, and then they're just like the damn common thug on the damn street. Order a hit, record it, and show every damn body. They can't say nothing about the thug on the street because the only difference between the thugs on the streets and these dudes is they wear suits, they get away with it, and they're deadlier, a lot deadlier. That's the difference.
In addition to killing 2 non-combatants who couldn't possibly have done any damage to anyone, also conveniently destroyed all the evidence. No one can now prove that they were not carrying drugs, and no one can ever prove that they were carrying drugs. That can never be proved. And that is true of every one of these strikes.
That's a weapon of mass distraction to keep us preoccupied with this while they continue to cover their ass and not release those files. These some wicked ass people. Now, I have a debate with Mehdi Hassan and Joe Walsh talking about this very thing that happened with the bombing of the boat. People are wicked.
I've got a quote from you that says, Israel deserves immense praise for winning this war as carefully as they can. Would you say that to the remaining family members?
No, let me finish.
Would you say that to their faces of Hind Rajab's family?
Oh, God, no. Mehdi Look, I defend the way Israel. Let me finish.
In abstract. This is why I give specific.
No.
I know how people do this. Abstract.
No.
Specific.
So let me address both.
Yeah.
I agree. Broadly speaking, I defend the way Israel has fought this war, acknowledging that, and let me finish this thought, that
Please.
mistakes are made in every war and that there are purposeful, indefensible acts.
We've got some footage. I'd love to get your response to this footage because Gaza, over the last 16 months, have a look at the screen, has suffered an apocalyptic level of destruction. This is a recent drone video from January. 70% of the buildings destroyed. Look at that imagery. That is not an anti-terror operation. That is not just targeting Hamas. That is, look at the imagery. That is something out of, I don't even know what to, is that a Mad Max movie? It's entirety destruction. If that's not genocidal, I don't know what is. I haven't seen scenes like that in Ukraine, maybe in one town, Mariupol, but I haven't seen the entire Gaza Strip.
Mehdi, by every measurement of urban warfare, Israel has
Please don't give me a talking point, Joe.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at that.
Respond to the footage.
I'm responding to the footage.
You don't give a damn about that.
No, I do. Don't say that. I do give a damn. I do give a damn.
Joe Walsh walked straight into a buzzsaw, and Mehdi Hassan didn't even break a sweat doing it. This wasn't a debate. It was a dismantling. Walsh showed up with talking points, and Mehdi tore through them like they were printed on wet tissue paper. Every dodge, every vague excuse, every attempt to wiggle out of a straight answer, gone, vaporized. It was like watching someone walk into a boxing ring, realize too late it wasn't sparring day, and immediately regret all of their life choices. Stick around because I've got some breakdowns coming that you honestly won't believe until you hear them. But first, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. Let's see who's witnessing this public meltdown in real time. And as always, tap like, hit subscribe, and let's ride into the chaos together. It thrives on company. And quick heads up before we get into the meat of it. This clip is from earlier this year, but it's absolutely essential viewing if you want to understand how some of the biggest defenders of Israel's Gaza campaign try and fail to justify it. For full context, grab the complete video over on the Zeteo channel. You'll want the full version, trust me.
Been an outspoken opponent of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, going as far as to call it a genocide. But when it comes to Gaza, you've criticized people for calling Gaza a genocide. Why is that, Joe? Why is what's happening in Ukraine a genocide, but not what's happening in Gaza when far more people have been killed and displaced in Gaza than in Ukraine?
I think it goes to motive and intent. I think Putin is trying to kill, and he has been for 3 years, Ukrainian civilians, kidnapping Ukrainian children. His intent is to kill civilians. You and I can arm wrestle. I don't think that's Israel's intent. At all. I think Israel...
Even though Israeli government members have said far more genocidal stuff than Vladimir Putin has.
Completely. There are extreme members of Israel's government.
Not just extreme members, the president, the prime minister.
There always have been. But
the president and prime minister of the country
I know,
have said stuff that Vladimir Putin has not said about Ukraine. And yet Joe Walsh, if you said neither's a genocide, then I'd be fine. We'd move on. We'll talk about other things about Gaza. What I find fascinating is that you're happy to say genocide here, but if you say it there, you get mad. I don't get it.
I don't get mad. I just think...
You do. I've seen some of your tweets.
I just think Putin's intent is to eliminate the Ukrainian
Based on
people.
what? His words?
Based
He's saying this as if Benjamin Netanyahu's intention is not to totally annihilate the Palestinians. As many men, women, and children who are not enemy combatants that are killed, and he makes an excuse for it. Now, this guy here, Joe Walsh, is a damn liar. And he's making excuses for Israel and the IDF. They are actually committing genocide over there on tens of thousands of people.
Based on his actions,
why is Israel's words and actions not the same?
Israel's actions and words, again, you can find some, but Israel's
I could read you dozens. I'd be here all day if I started reading out all the genocidal statements from Israeli men.
I can find you a more history
Just a few days ago, the deputy speaker of the Israeli parliament and senior member of the Likud party, Netanyahu's party, said that the Palestinian civilians, his words, civilians, are scum, subhuman, and the women and children should be separated so that men can all be killed. That is stuff that Milosevic said. That is stuff I've not even heard Putin say. I don't hear Joe Walsh condemning that as genocide.
Well, I would condemn that, and I will condemn that statement.
That's a genocidal statement.
That is a genocidal statement. I'm saying, Mehdi, that is a very minority view overall in Israel. Oh my God.
Their actions are far worse than what they're saying. Their actions. They could just not say anything. But their actions or what they're doing to the people over there is far worse than what they're saying. So I don't understand why they're discussing what the man said. What he's doing is a lot worse.
God, in Israel's government and among the Israeli people.
Well, put the Israeli people to one side. There's many polls. The Israeli government consists of Netanyahu and Smotrich and Amichai Eliyahu, who said, let's drop a nuke on Gaza.
That's not the majority. You think...
That is the Israeli government, Joe. They're the people killing the Palestinians right now,
you think
creating the post-war plan to wipe out the Palestinians with Trump to get rid of them from the place. Is it genocidal?
Is it Israel's intent to target and kill Palestinian civilians?
100%, yes.
You believe it has? That's been their intent from day one after October 7th.
They've said it, Joe. They've lit the guy. I just quoted to you. The deputy speaker of parliament said, "Let's kill all the adult men in Gaza."
And I'm
so
telling
you just put your hands in your ears.
No. I'm telling you that's a minority view. That's not the majority.
Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu said they are Amalek. What is Amalek, Joe? In the Bible, Amalek is kill everybody. Men.
It doesn't matter if it's a minority view. And when you say it's a minority view, he's only talking about himself or how he view it. Because if Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli president give the order, the soldier's going to carry it out. So how you view it is not damn important.
Men, women, children, even the donkeys. That's what Netanyahu said. I didn't hear Putin say that.
Mehdi, again, I can find extreme things that members of Israel's government has said.
Yeah,
if Israel,
that counts as intent, and that's why they're at the ICJ, and that's why ICJ is investigating him. That's why some of Israel's leading Holocaust scholars have said it's a genocide.
If Israel wanted to exterminate the Palestinian people, they could have done it in 3 months.
That's the worst argument you've ever made in all the time I've ever. I'll tell you why. Vladimir Putin could have raised everyone in Ukraine with a nuke.
No.
Yes, he could.
Oh, God, no.
Yes, he could.
Well, with a nuke.
Yeah.
But with a nuke, then...
No, hold on. Your argument is Israel is not genocidal because they haven't killed everyone in Gaza and they could. I'm saying Vladimir Putin could kill everyone in Ukraine and he hasn't. Therefore, according to Joe Walsh's logic, Vladimir Putin is not genocidal.
A different situation in this degree. Israel is capable. From day one, they were.
And so is Russia. Russia is capable from day one of destroying Ukraine 10 times over. Double, triple, quadruple talk.
God, well, only with nukes. Israel is fighting another sovereign nation with a full-on military, with the support of the world community. Ukraine. Right,
you meant Russia. You said Israel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So Russia literally has an opposing army supported that.
But it could wipe it out. And by the way, the definition of genocide is not to kill everyone in a place.
Mehdi,
you know this, right?
I do.
They don't have to kill everyone to be genocidal.
Oh, I know that. But Mehdi.
But what they've done meets many of the criteria of genocide, which is why they're in front of the ICJ, which is why some of the leading genocide scholars in the world are saying it's a genocide.
No.
Omar Bartov, Israeli Holocaust historian. Amos Goldberg, Israeli Holocaust historian. Daniel Blatvik, Israeli Holocaust. They all say it's genocide. Are they crazy? These people study this for a living, Joe.
But do you?
Not you and me.
No, I know that, and I respect those opinions. But I don't think that's the majority view. But secondly, going back to Russia,
Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, all say genocide.
Well, again,
human rights groups. Israeli Holocaust historian, Joe Walsh. With respect, what do you know that they don't know?
With respect, I'm sure it's more than Joe Walsh. But again, just to get back to Russia on this point, Mehdi, so Russia would be forced to use a nuke because Russia is fighting literally an army.
But they could, is what I'm saying. People were worried about Putin using nukes.
But a nuke that.
Yes, that's the big difference. You're shooting yourself in your own foot with your statements. Russia is fighting a literal army, but Israel is not. They're murdering and killing men, women, and children who are not enemy combatants. Just keep talking. You're just digging yourself in a deeper hole.
Then would mean the destruction of Russia. That's a whole different equation. Israel doesn't have to use a nuke, and they didn't from day one to get rid of the Palestinian people.
But they have made life uninhabitable. It's not hypothetical. Right now, as of right now, Gaza is uninhabitable. Donald Trump says so, the President of the United States. In fact, let me show you. I think we've got some footage. I'd love to get your response to this footage because Gaza over the last 16 months, have a look at the screen, has suffered an apocalyptic level of destruction. This is a recent drone video from January. 70% of the buildings destroyed. Look at that imagery. That is not an anti-terror operation. That is not just targeting Hamas. That is, look at the imagery. That is something out of, I don't even know what to, is that Mad Max movie?
They are killing any and everybody over there. This is genocide. This is a damn calamity. And this is not, trying to fight terrorism. How the hell you gonna call somebody a terrorist when you doing all the damn terrorists? You're doing all the bombing, but these are the terrorists. All the bombing's being done by you, killing children and not allowing humanitarian aid to come. The people go towards the food, you shoot at them, starving children, men, women, and children. That's genocide. That's an atrocity.
Movie, its entirety destruction. If that's not genocidal, I don't know what is. I haven't seen scenes like that in Ukraine, maybe in one town, Mariupol, but I haven't seen the entire Gaza Strip.
Mehdi, by every measurement of urban warfare, Israel has
Please don't give me a talking point, Joe.
No, I'm
They're
not.
calling it urban warfare. It's not warfare. It's a damn literal slaughter. If I jump on somebody and I hit the person 15 times, and he 15 times with unanswered blows, I was not in a fight. I just whooped somebody's ass. Now, if we rock it, he hit me and I'm hitting him, that's a fight. If I hit him with 15 unanswered blows and he's curled up, no, I just beat his ass.
No, I'm looking at that.
Respond to the footage.
I'm responding to the footage.
You don't give a damn about that.
No, I do. Don't say that. I do give a damn. I do give a damn.
I'm talking about urban warfare.
No,
stats.
no, it is.
I know the stats. I could give you stats. Ask you to respond to that footage.
Agreed. And
entire cities and towns.
Gaza needs to be rebuilt.
That's
no
not
doubt.
engaging with the footage.
No, it is.
What is your human reaction to seeing entire towns, cities, refugee camps wiped out?
My reaction is that really sucks. That's horrible. That needs to be rebuilt. But I'm not going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Israel.
The people who wiped that out. The people who chose to drop 2,000-pound bombs on civilian homes, apartment buildings.
I'm going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Hamas for starting the war on October 7th, knowing exactly what would happen, hiding for years behind their civilians, putting their civilians in.
He sounds like Benjamin Netanyahu talking about Hamas is hiding behind their civilians, bombing, schools, bombing hospitals, and the excuse that they're using is that they're hiding Hamas in tunnels and in the hospitals, in restaurants and schools.
In harm's way. I'm not going to blame the
It's a very strange
army.
argument that says they started a war knowing that would happen. So,
yeah.
So hold on. So if I start a fight with a known gangster or murderer and he kills a bunch of my family in response, it's my fault?
Oh.
No, seriously. The law, it's a very strange argument. You're basically conceding that Israel was going to respond in a genocidal way. That's what you're saying. You're saying Hamas started knowing Israel would do that. That doesn't make it morally right what Israel
I'm not
did.
conceding that's a genocidal way.
What is that? What is that imagery in your eyes? I'm trying to understand what is that imagery.
That is a horrible result.
That is something we've not seen in modern wars. I mean, what they've done in Gaza, other military commanders, you know this, Joe, including the US, have said, we would never do this.
But Mehdi,
the UK, the US.
The Gaza is a very unusual setting for a war like this.
Yes,
I'll give you this. But we're talking about
children.
We're talking about Hamas that has a history of purposely provoking Israel, then hiding behind.
They would say they're provoked by Israel by an unending occupation. But I want to ask you this question about civilians. I do want to ask you because
I love being with you.
No, but I want to ask you because I want to deal with actual substantive stuff.
That is substantive stuff.
That's opinion. I want to deal with fact.
Oh my God.
It is opinion about who provoked who. We can get into that. I will come to that, I promise. But just dealing with this, I just want to deal with human. Because the reason I want to talk to you about the subject is because at home in the US, I see you caring about human rights, civil liberties, democracy, fascism. And then I see Israel, you're on the wrong side completely. So when I look at, for example, that destruction, I don't think you would defend that if it wasn't Israel that was doing it. Similarly, 6-year-old Hind Rajab, you always say Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. This is the great excuse for Israel committing war crimes. You have a 6-year-old girl, Hind Rajab, infamously killed in a car with her 4 cousins, her uncle and aunt, all killed by an Israeli tank that was firing at them. She makes a 911 call. Very, very tragic, horrific call. They send 2 paramedics the Palestinians to rescue her. The Israelis killed the paramedics as well in the ambulance. Sky News, the Washington Post have all debunked the Israeli denials that their tank wasn't in the area at the time. The UK independent investigators, Forensic Architecture, they looked at it and said that the Israelis fired 335 bullets into this car and that the tank driver had to have seen that there were children sitting in this car. How do you defend that?
335 bullets into a car where men, women, and children sitting in. Overkill. A straight up overkill. These are wicked ass people.
Not Joe.
I don't.
You do. I've got a quote from you that says Israel deserves immense praise for winning this war as carefully as they can. Would you say that to the remaining family members?
No, let me finish.
Would you say that to their faces of Hind Rajab's family?
Oh, God, no. Mehdi, look, I defend the way Israel. Let me finish.
In abstract, which is why I give specifics.
No. I
know how people do this. Abstract.
No.
Specifics.
So let me address both.
Yeah.
I agree. Broadly speaking, I defend the way Israel has fought this war, acknowledging that, and let me finish this thought, that
Please.
mistakes are made in every war and that there are purposeful, indefensible acts made even by the IDF and any military. And that's an example of one. And this is.
So you're agreeing then that in this war that you support, Israel has committed war crimes?
I agree.
He's not going to admit that Israel committed war crimes, but the people of Israel are saying that they don't support it. The people of Israel, the citizens, the taxpayers, the people are saying it's a war crime and they don't support it. But Benjamin Netanyahu don't give a damn about that. The president of Israel don't give a damn about what the people of Israel say.
Purposeful. Yes, mistakes have been made.
No, not mistake.
I'm not going to.
Mistake is I shot that person. I didn't mean to shoot that person. A war crime is I deliberately killed a civilian, which you seem to concede for a moment, and then you pulled back.
No, hold on. I don't know that I'm going to call it a war crime.
Why?
I'm going to say, I don't know.
What's killing a child with 335 bullets isn't a war crime?
Give me the formal definition of war.
A violation of international humanitarian law, deliberately targeting civilians. What every human rights group. I mean, I could start reading.
Okay.
There's no way. This is a wicked ass man. He won't even say that someone aiming a tank at a car full of civilians and shooting over 300 bullets in that one vehicle is not a war crime, and doing it deliberately. Then killing the damn paramedics that goes to render first aid. I don't know what they could have done after all that anyway, but killed them also.
Okay, so
I can read to you from the International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor.
So yes,
we know
so
he's literally charged.
So Mehdi,
the Prime Minister you support with war crimes.
Well,
and crimes against humanity.
I don't support that
Prime
Minister.
You've praised Netanyahu.
I also called for him to resign.
I know, but you've also praised him. You've also praised him.
Right. But let me get that on the record.
I'm factually accurate
2
when I
weeks
say
after October 7th, I said he needs to go.
And then in the 18 months since you've praised a man who was indicted.
I've also been critical of him as well.
Indicted for war crimes.
Well, I could care less about what the IJC said about war crimes.
You sound like a Republican of old now.
No,
you
not
do.
a Republican.
Republicans, this is what I'm saying. At home, you're like rule of law, judiciary, courts. Abroad, screw the ICJ and the ICC. Do you see how you switch from home and abroad? At home, you're Joe Walsh, the Democrat.
Still the same.
And abroad, you're Joe Walsh, supporter of fascism, anti-international law.
Listening to Joe Walsh twist himself into knots trying to defend Israel's conduct in Gaza is genuinely exhausting because it isn't just inconsistent. It's a full display of selective outrage dressed up as moral clarity. The man can talk endlessly about humanity.
Both sides of politics are equally as evil. I don't like politics. I just don't, because they play politics with real things. They play politics against each other, and the people suffer, and they're doing their political party bullshit. Like, when the people didn't receive their SNAP benefits because the Republicans and the Democrats are playing politics, and the essential workers, air traffic controllers and TSA agents, all of them going to work, not getting paid. But the one who closed the government down, it didn't affect them. They were still receiving their pay, but the essential workers were not. I can't stand politicians. I can't stand them.
International law, and authoritarian brutality when the topic is Ukraine. But the moment the conversation shifts toward Gaza, all of that righteous energy evaporates into thin air. Suddenly, mass civilian deaths become mistakes. Flattened neighborhoods become complications, and children killed in their cars are treated like unfortunate footnotes in some grand geopolitical chess match. He turns human tragedy into something abstract and academic, like he's talking about hypothetical numbers instead of the lives of real people. Walsh keeps clinging to this idea that genocide only counts if the perpetrator intends to kill civilians. He insists that Putin's intent is clear, but Israel somehow isn't, even though Israeli officials have repeatedly made open, documented extremist statements that would make any legal expert raise an eyebrow. You can't pretend words don't matter when those words...
Especially when, Benjamin Netanyahu's been lying for 30 plus years about Iran having, nukes. It's been lying since 1994 about Iran having nuclear weapons and having a nuclear program. And my sentiment is, so what if they do? You have them. See, that's the thing. Only your enemy will try to disarm you. Only your enemy will tell you that they don't want you to have something that they have. That's an enemy. Because they want to bully you. They want to be able to slap you around. It's like telling somebody you can't go to the gym when you know you're supposed to fight. You can't train, but I could. That makes no sense to me. You can't tell somebody you don't want them to be able to defend themselves against you. That's a bully pulpit.
Words come from cabinet ministers, military officials, and the prime minister himself. You also can't separate intent from the real-world consequences of massive, systematic destruction that left Gaza literally uninhabitable, as confirmed even by U.S. officials. Trying to dismiss that as a fringe set of views is dishonest, because fringe becomes policy when the fringe is in charge. Then there's Walsh's bizarre logic about Israel not being genocidal because they could have killed everyone in 3 months, but didn't. That argument is disturbing on its own. By that standard, Putin wouldn't be genocidal either, because he could theoretically nuke every Ukrainian city, but hasn't. And Walsh's inability to recognize how absurd and morally hollow that comparison is says everything. Genocide is not defined by body count. It's defined by a pattern of actions aimed at destroying a group in whole or in part. Israeli Holocaust scholars, people who have devoted their lives to studying genocidal behavior, have reviewed the evidence and said plainly that what is happening meets the criteria. Walsh's response is to shrug and insist he knows better. And then comes the blame shifting. The moment Walsh is confronted with something concrete, like the horrific case of 6-year-old Hind Rajab being killed along with her family, and the medics who tried to rescue her being executed moments later, he immediately grabs the nearest rhetorical escape hatch. It's Hamas's fault. As if Hamas pulled the trigger. As if Hamas fired the tank. As if that little girl picked her own coordinates. It's the same tired tactic. Erase Israel's responsibility by...
They knew that those were civilians in that car. They knew that there were children in that car. But some people have the mentality that their lives are worth more than other people. That's their mentality, that other people's lives are worthless, and they didn't value the lives of those men, women, and children. Didn't. Shot them like it was nothing. And then those who were helped them killed them also.
By pointing endlessly to Hamas. It's the kind of moral shortcut people take when they'd rather protect a narrative than face what actually happened. Even when undeniable drone footage appears, entire neighborhoods reduced to gray wastelands stretching to the horizon, Walsh retreats into abstractions. He starts talking about urban warfare measurements, unique battlegrounds, unusual settings, anything to avoid acknowledging the simple truth that the destruction on screen is not normal, not necessary, and not morally.
Reducing to killing entire communities, reducing it to urban warfare.
Defensible. He won't call deliberate civilian targeting a war crime even when the evidence is overwhelming. He simultaneously admits purposeful acts occurred, but refuses to give them their real name. It's a dance of moral avoidance. What's most frustrating is the hypocrisy. At home, Walsh sells himself as the defender of democracy, the guy who stands up to authoritarianism, the man who cares deeply about rule of law and human rights. But when those same principles apply to Israel's actions, suddenly the courts, international bodies, human rights groups, and scholars don't matter. He becomes the same person he claims to oppose in American politics, someone who dismisses legal institutions because their conclusions are inconvenient. It's a complete abandonment of the values he claims to hold. By the end, Walsh isn't making an argument. He's making...
I'm going to move on from this, and I'm going to go to a video that I watched of this, like, you know, when it comes to tyranny, it's business as usual. And when we see someone who look like us, we shouldn't be, you know, fooled by the person who look like us, who are in uniform, because a lot of times they'll try so hard to show off in front of their constituents. And some Negroes who are cops would reinforce the stereotype of our people and the perceived stereotypes that others have, you know, with us. Some Negro cops will reinforce it by doing all this performative masculinity, this performative toughness to try to prove that they're tough in front of their white constituents. Check this video out. Make it so bad he's a...
Why are you in a chair? So I'm disabled. The f*** you think?
He's a dumb Negro at that. A dumb one.
Yeah, I see your brain disabled. Yeah. What is your name? What law did I break? What is your name? What law did I break? Don't worry about what law. No, I am worried about what law I broke. You would know my mother should walk up and slap you in the damn face right now. Yeah.
A disabled man was calmly filming on a public sidewalk near a military base when Tampa police suddenly surrounded him. One officer approached and demanded to know who he was, but the man stayed silent. He knew his rights and understood he didn't have to identify himself without reasonable suspicion of a crime. The officer couldn't name a single offense. Instead, he kept insisting the man was being detained without explaining why. His tone grew louder, his behavior more aggressive, until his frustration erupted. "I don't care if you're disabled," he barked. A moment that revealed everything. The badge lost its dignity, the professional mask dropped, and all that remained was hostility, ego, and raw abuse of power. The officer nearly lost control and appeared ready to strike the disabled man right there on a public sidewalk where he had every legal right to stand and film.
How you doing? How you doing? I don't answer questions, I'm sorry. You have any ID on you? Did I break any laws? They're wondering why you... Did I break any... Am I free to go or am I being detained? Call the military guys. Am I being detained or am I free to go? I'm sorry? Am I being detained or am I free to go? You're definitely being detained, yes. What law did I break? Do you have some type of... What law did I break? You see the identification. What law did I break? Why are you taking pictures of the military base? What law did I break? Why are you taking pictures of the military base? Is it against the law? Yes, sir, it is. It is? See your driver's license. Legal shield, what is this? Where you going? And what's your name? Yeoman? Oh, Yeoman? That's correct. Badge number is 364. 364. Make sure you get that. All right. Am I free to go or am I being detained? No, sir, you're not free to go. What law did I break? Why are you out here taking pictures of that? What law did I break? Why are you out here taking pictures of that? What law did I break? What is your name? What law did I break? What is your name? What law did I break? Don't worry about what law. No, I am worried about what law I broke. You broke a law by taking pictures of the military base. That's the law you broke. That's not a law. That's upheld by the First Amendment. How do you know that? Because I talked to my lawyers. Care what you said to your lawyers. Huh? I said I don't care what you said to your lawyers. I don't care about your lawyers. Yeah, you don't care about the law. Then you take an oath? You have some type of identification on you? I don't answer questions. No, you don't have it. That's all you. Yeah, that's all you got. Some legal card. Am I being detained or am I free to go? You are being detained. For what law? So you are illegally detaining me. Call it illegal, whatever you want. Yeah, illegal detainment. You are illegally detaining me, and I'm going to have a field day with this. You go right ahead, field day with it, whatever you want to have field day with. Yep. Illegal searches, detainments. more of this conversation.
Tax 7604 Henry Springs is left in the back parking lot. The black driver, Skinny Hills, black t-shirt, black short break.
You having a problem or something?
I'm trying to follow them, but it didn't work.
I'm being illegally detained.
Didn't work. I don't know which side it was on.
Yep. Goldman 364, huh?
That's correct. 364 Tampa Police Department.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, you don't care about the Constitution.
Apparently you don't.
I do.
You don't give a damn about it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm fighting for. That's what I served for. I know more about the Constitution than you, and you're supposed to be a fucking officer.
You know a damn thing about it. You're supposed to be a fucking American.
I'm a fucking American. Stand up on
Apparently you don't. You're not eating shit. You're out here taking pictures of a damn military base.
So what? They don't like it, put a fucking wall around it. Did I go in there? Did I trespass on their property? No. So you're illegally detaining me for not breaking any fucking laws.
I don't know what laws you broke. Why don't you tell me what?
You don't know what laws I broke?
What
You're
laws have you
detaining me.
broke?
I didn't break any laws. And you're here detaining me without breaking any laws. You even admitted it.
You better get your damn finger down out of my face.
Well, you better let me fucking go. Oh, Tampa PD's gonna come down on your ass. Once my lawyer gets this.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, shit.
Oh, so what am I supposed to do now?
Well, shit, you fucking better retire.
Fall back in the hole?
Fired. Shit, you probably crawled out from under a shit pile.
That's where I found you at just now.
Yeah, because I was looking for you. I was with your mother.
Stupid clown.
Yeah. That's where I was with your mother at.
You would know my mother's walking and slapping the damn face right now.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Police brutality. Go ahead. Go ahead. You know this is going on YouTube.
Okay. So what?
Showing up the ass clowns we got in Tampa all.
Yeah, they want to stand here holding a camera. That's the type of ass clowns we got.
Yeah. Yeah. You need all cameras with cops like you come around.
Why are you in a chair?
Because I'm disabled. What the fuck you think?
Yeah, I see your brain disabled.
Yeah. Just like your brain. Because I got more brains than you. You're illegally detaining someone. I know you want to hit me.
Well, you give me an excuse to it. I'll do what I have to do.
Yeah.
Me hitting you, I will knock you out.
Oh, yeah, I bet you will. I bet you will. I bet you do that all the fucking time. It's not a black and white thing. It's a fucking blue thing. That's the problem.
This is what a mentally idiot looks like.
Yeah, I'm looking at him.
Look just like you.
Yep. You looking in the mirror? You pussy ass motherfucker.
You want to try to do something about that? You're welcome to.
I'm not going to do shit. I'm not here to cause violence like you. I don't consent to this detainment. You're detaining me illegally.
As I said, it don't matter. It do not matter. They all have the same mentality. All of them. It's in their training to behave like this. It don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Am I free to go?
Yes, sir.
Why? What did I break? Can you articulate what I've done?
I've already articulated to you, but apparently you don't understand.
Why? What did I do?
The only thing you're looking forward to is just getting some type of just verbal confrontation.
No, you're the pussy motherfucker that's hiding
just
behind
like
your
I'm
head.
talking about now.
Listen, I didn't break any laws. You even said you know I didn't break any laws, and you don't know what laws I broke, which I didn't break any. And then you try to tell me that.
Why you out here filming a military installation?
Why can't I not?
Why are you doing it?
Why can't I?
Why are you?
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 Why can't I?
Why are we sitting up here doing this stupid? See,
you tell me.
This dude is a damn child. He's obvious. I guarantee he's older than the man in the chair, in the wheelchair. And he's going back and forth in this childish ass tirade. And he's supposed to be a professional. This is the criteria of people who police departments hire all across the United States. They have the brain of a mustard seed. The brain of a mustard seed. All of them. allow them to walk off the cotton fields, give them some bullshit training for 6 months, 2 months of field training, and then they're allowed to be out here just like this goofy right here.
You came up to me. You're the one that's stopping me from going. You're the fucking mental idiot. You're the one that stopped me. I would have fucking kept walking. But you're trying to fucking bully me.
So what do you plan on doing to the base?
I don't plan on doing anything, and I don't answer questions anymore.
Don't sound like it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Am I free to go?
No, sir, you're not.
Or am I being detained?
So we find out what you're doing out here? No, sir, you're not.
What law did I break? What law did I break? Yeah, none. So you illegally detained me. Officer, am I free to go? I don't answer questions. May I have my card back?
Yeah.
And you are Uno 893, Tampa PD. And why am I being detained?
For the military police, sir.
Okay. All right, fine.
Hey, you take a picture of a secured military installation, so what do you decide? Just stroll around and take pictures of military installations?
Yeah, leave.
Be right back with you. Stop the camera. Stop.
I don't have to stop shit.
Base. Just got a call about an individual possibly. I'll stay over here. We'll keep them company.
I don't answer questions. And did I break a law?
No, we're just out here.
Did I break a law?
No, sir.
Then thank you. Can you leave now and leave me alone and have them release me from unlawful detainment?
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
We're just trying to ascertain reasons.
Did I trespass?
No, sir.
Thank you. Did I break any laws? No.
We're just trying to ascertain just to ensure your safety.
That's it. Am I free to go? Can I have my card back, please?
Okay.
You can take my picture. It doesn't matter. I'm in public view. I don't give a fuck, because evidently you guys do, but when you're in public and whatever you can see in public. Can I have my card back, please? My card? Can you have them give me my card back? I've been released. Can I have my card back? My contact. Thank you. And it's Bruno and the other officer, which I'll be getting.
You want to talk to the supervisor because they're on the way down there?
Well, if he's here and I'm still here, sure, I'll talk to him. But I was unlawfully detained by you two, and that's a big issue. Especially for an America, this is not a police state. You should learn your fucking jobs. Now you know why people hate the fucking cops.
What you just watched is yet another.
Yeah, they do earn the hate. They definitely earn the hate.
Example of officers abusing their authority simply because someone dared to hold a camera. Instead of articulating a crime or providing a lawful reason for detention, these Tampa officers escalated a simple, harmless act into an unnecessary confrontation. They demanded ID without reasonable suspicion, raised their voices, got aggressive, and even mocked a disabled man for refusing to surrender rights he is fully entitled to keep. This wasn't policing. This was intimidation. But here's the reality. The law is clear. In the United States, you are not required to...
An epic intimidation failed. It was an outright failure.
Identify yourself unless officers can point to a specific, articulable crime. And filming a military base from a public sidewalk is not illegal. The First Amendment protects photography of anything visible from public space, and the Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed that officers may not detain someone without reasonable, articulable suspicion. A hunch is not enough, discomfort is not enough, and authority alone is not enough. These officers knew they had nothing, and their frustration revealed it. Meanwhile, the man they tried to intimidate never raised his voice, never threatened anyone, and never broke a single law. He stayed calm, firm, and stood on the Constitution when those sworn to uphold it refused to do so. In the end, they were forced to release him because they had no lawful grounds to detain him. This encounter is a powerful reminder that knowing your rights is not optional. It's essential. And today, a disabled man with a camera showed more professionalism, restraint, and respect for the law than the entire group of officers surrounding him.
Now I'm going to go to a video. I'm going to go inside the mind of a lunatic, an outright lunatic. Just so happens to be running the country. This video is courtesy of Midas Touch. I like their work and what they do.
Donald Trump launched an attack against the Midas Touch network on his social media platform yesterday. He showed a video that we did. It's an interview with former Attorney General.
Now, as President of the United States, instead of truly trying to make America great again, this is what Donald Trump had time to do. I've never in my life seen a man who's 80 years old behave like he's about 8 years old. This is utterly ridiculous.
General Eric Holder. And then after showing that video where Donald Trump attacked Holder and attacked our interview, Trump went on a posting spree with over 400 posts within a 1 hour period. I'll just show it to you here and I'll speed it up so you can see the quantity of posts he was making. And he made these posts last night around midnight. 400 posts within an hour, post after post, and some of the most deranged posts you could ever imagine, even by Trump standards. So here was Trump's attack on the Midas Touch network for our interview with former Attorney General Eric Holder. You see right here, you see the Midas Touch logo from his post, and Trump goes, Obama sycophant, the former Attorney General who did so much to hurt our country and who weaponized against the Republicans and me, known as Fast and Furious, just gave a speech where he emphatically stated above all else, the Democrats will pack the Supreme Court of the United States if they get any chance. The word is he wants 21 radical left activist judges not being satisfied. He then goes on to say that the American people don't want gridlock, terminate the filibuster, and have the most successful 4 years in the history of our country. And again, he shows the interview that I did with former Attorney General Holder. I want to show you now what Trump was posting in those 400 post after post after post after launching that attack on us for our interview with former Attorney General Eric Holder. Just a reminder, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. We've got Trump attacking us. We have Fox attacking us. We're leading all independent media right now. We're about to hit 6 million subscribers. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not have actually hit the subscribe button. So please hit the subscribe button right now. So here are the types of posts that Donald Trump is making. In those 400 posts, he posts this: wild. Michelle Obama may have used Biden's auto pen in the final days of his disastrous administration to pardon key individuals. So Trump is now spreading a conspiracy that the former First Lady Michelle Obama was actually running the White House. I mean, what in the world is he talking about? Then Trump posts the following: John Brennan was never for the American people, especially with his communist background and traitorous actions, from being labeled an assassination czar for Obama's secret drone strike program to running a weekly Tuesday morning kill list with Obama and openly claiming to be Muslim. John Brennan is not someone you can trust, leading torture programs. He lied about the amount of civilians that were being targeted and killed under Obama. You see what Trump's doing here? He knows that he and Pete Hegseth have been caught committing horrific war crimes. By the way, their whole operation off the coast of Venezuela are war crimes, and now they've been caught with the double tap or double strike war crimes, and they don't know what to do, and they are flailing. And finally, you seem to have at least some degree of bipartisan demand for accountability of the Trump regime war crimes with Hegseth as they try to throw the admiral who was put in that position under the bus. Just look at some more of these posts that Trump was posting. I mean, this is quite literally, I don't know, psychotic. I mean, I'm not trying to use that word lightly. He's posting breathing out CO2 essential for plants and life, framed as planetary poison, even consciousness itself, unconscious bias, you can never fully escape. I mean, it's just the ranting and ravings of a lunatic. Then he reposts this. I'm sick and tired of this fucking pirates, excuse my language. They invade, rob us blind, impose Sharia bullshit, and milk the taxpayers dry with nonstop fraud after fraud. Meanwhile, there's unlimited cash for these inbred savages, but jack shit for our own veterans sleeping on the streets. You're the one defunding the VA, by the way. You're the one ripping away healthcare from people. But this is what Trump's posting.
Donald Trump do not respect the United States military. He will only use them as his personal goons to push whatever agenda he have. He don't respect the United States military at all. And I don't see how any military personnel will obey anything that comes from him. I don't see how they would do it. Or Peter had said, I would just disobey them, especially all that unlawful stuff. Military need to just, what they need to do is just go in there and make some arrest. That's what they need to do.
Posting 400 different posts like this. Then Trump posts the following. Donald Trump is not a Democrat. He's not even a Republican. He's a movement. The greatest president to ever live is what he's posting. And then Donald Trump posts an AI video of the president of Venezuela, Maduro, surrendering to Donald Trump. And Trump writes, breaking, Venezuelan president just publicly surrendered to President Trump. Maduro has now turned in state evidence against the Biden administration and is releasing proof that the Biden asked the Venezuelan government to ship Tren de Aragua drug gangs into the U.S. This is obvious AI that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is posting, saying that the president of Venezuela surrendered. This is legitimately insane. This is beyond 25th Amendment territory. This man belongs in a straitjacket right now. Then he continues to make these posts. I mean, look at this one. He goes, fraud, the 2020 election stolen. Then he goes on to say there are many ways to rig elections that are being exploited with operations in places including Canada, Brazil, Australia, South Korea, and the Congo, he says. Then it posts like this, John Brennan, enemy of the people, with photos of Brennan and former President Obama. Now, what's going on here? Why is Donald Trump panicking and freaking out like this? Well, his regime is collapsing right now. Donald Trump's cognitive and physical deterioration has been exposed, and finally, corporate news is following the lead of the Midas Touch Network, and they're asking the tough questions, and they deserve credit for asking some of the tough questions as well. You've got Donald Trump being exposed for engaging in these war crimes with Hegseth. Hat tip Washington Post, they've been doing some great reporting. Hat tip Bloomberg, they've been doing great reporting. Hat tip Wall Street Journal, they've been doing great reporting. And the New York Times been doing great reporting. Others, of course, the Guardian's been doing great reporting. But let's take a look at what Washington Post reported last night. Hegseth, with White House help, tries to distance himself from boat strike fallout. As Congress vows accountability, the Trump administration emphasized it was a top military commander, not the defense secretary, who directed the engagement. But officials in Congress and the Pentagon said Monday they are increasingly concerned that the Trump administration intends to scapegoat the military officer who directed U.S. forces to kill 2 survivors of a targeted strike. That individual's name is Admiral Mitch Bradley, who now...
They're trying to throw Mitch Bradley under the bus, saying that he ordered the second strike that killed the survivors that was holding on to the boat, when it was Peter Hegseth that did it. He ordered that. He's the one who said killed everybody. But they're trying to throw the admiral under the bus.
runs Southcom, Southern Command. You know who ran it before? Alvin Halsey. You know what happened to Halsey? He resigned abruptly in October, likely because he saw these war crimes being committed and wanted nothing to do with it. He's a 4-star Admiral, Halsey, who was 1 year into his term running Southcom. You don't just leave that position unless there is some compelling reason. It's unheard of. And now we know the reason, I believe. So as our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, writes, if Admiral...
He didn't want to be tied to anything that Trump had said for doing these war crimes.
Bradley didn't realize before that these cowards were setting him up to take the fall. He knows it now. Time to hire a good lawyer because...
I'm going to leave this right here. I think we have the gist of what I'm talking about, the insanity of Donald Trump posting over 400 posts on Instagram in 1 hour. Whatever social media, Instagram, Twitter, wherever, 400 posts anywhere is insane to me. To do that anywhere is insane. I'm gonna land this right here. And I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And before you go, if you haven't gotten your copy of Fire and Fire Book 2, the finale, get your copies of Fire and Fire Book 2, the finale. Go to Amazon, go to books, get your copies of Fire and Fire Book 2, the finale.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
I don't know how I got here. I just know I'm never going back. Just when I thought things were already crazy, it gets worse.
I'm back.
Quan?
Sapphire struggles to deal with her husband's alleged betrayal and coming to terms with Quan being alive after thinking he was deceased. Devante tries to keep a level head while dealing with family issues and unexpected disloyalty. Memories of Dre enters Devante's life in a way that he would have never imagined.
Fire Part 2, the finale.
I'd like to thank everyone for joining me this evening. I appreciate you. Until next time, this is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.